Yeah, yes, it's salty.
All general privations are great.
It looks so cool.
Because they are all terrible. Vacuity, solitude, and silence.
The desert sublime. So this class is a combination of the two disciplines of geology and philosophy, which is a really unusual pairing.
Strapped to my wrist. We've been working through Edmund Burke's classic book from 1757, The Philosophical Inquiry into the Sublime and Beautiful. The features of the sublime that he talks about include vastness. And when you're out here, you really get a sense of this vast and unhuman environment.
There's some good ones over there. I was digging for a while.
We are at Badwater Basin, which is the lowest point in the United States.
This is a landscape that is silent, like this great privation of sound, which is something you don't get in the modern world. And so it has an impact upon our sensations.
So what we want the students to do here is experience the vastness of the valley, but also the depth. It's really nice to see them laying down and feeling the earth against their body to try to get that human connection to nature as well. Even here you see the mud has been sort of like dragged down with the drips of water. This is the natural bridge, and what we want to focus on here is the power of water, which is something that people don't usually think about in the desert. It really carves the landscape.
He waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now.
So we're going to Devil's Golf Course next, and we're focusing on silence and hearing jagged salt crystals cracking. No one should speak. This is a voiceless stop. Appreciate the silence. Everything was so still to the point where like the wind would come and it wouldn't do anything.
I honestly felt just more discomfort, I think. So I don't know if that's qualified as sublime, but it was just definitely like a mix of like discomfort and awe.
It was very brittle. It's like a horrible Zen garden.
Okay, and you're gonna use the song to see how you emphasize or how you feel about the landscape and how the song plays into that.
It's been a really interesting experience because we've seen things like this that are just completely beautiful, and then things like the Devil's Golf Course where it's kind of eerie and jagged and this and sublime. There's both in the world, and then there's also a spectrum.
If you remember, the concept of the sublime has a characteristic of obscurity in it.
Can you see where humans have disturbed it?
It seems to me that the strangeness and wonder of existence are emphasized here in the desert.
We have this sort of really rounded pebbles here.
I think it was really awesome when we were like hiking through Mosaic Canyon, and Dr. O'Shea was just teaching us about the sediments and the different layers, and it just makes me appreciate the world around me a little more now.
I want you to reflect on this for 5 minutes, just thinking about it. The air is untroubled, and I become aware for the first time today of the immense silence. A particular dream of ours was to have, as part of this program, classes that are integrative and immersive. In a landscape like this, how do you understand it? You can understand it from the perspective of geology, that's one way of looking at it. You can understand it from the perspective of physics or of philosophy or of poetry and literature. In a class like this, we're trying to push it all together so you get a fully well-rounded idea of the landscape.
That's what interests me so much about this class. At least for me, that sort of is both sides of my brain. I'm a math major, so I have the concrete side of my brain, but then I also love the philosophy side and just like overthinking and thinking stuff like that. And so a class like this where you get to go, okay, let's learn about how this was formed, let's learn about what it is, and then let's go and even deeper into that and say, well, what do you think about it? How does it make you feel? That to me is one of the most powerful things you can do to learn about something.
It is an advanced integration class. They are designed to be taught to USD students towards the end of their time at USD. And it's a great example of how they might explain to a family member or a potential employer, this is the value of the liberal arts.